don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
I don't know what's real anymore. I've opened up the door to nowhere.
Hello there everyone. Today we will be taking a look at the War for Cybertron, or maybe this is the Fall of Cybertron, Seeker Armada Squad. Now each one of these was individually purchased, and I just recently got all three of them, to be honest with you. I've had the Starscream mold for a very long time, but I just recently got Thundercracker and Skywarp, and so we're going to take a look at them. This was something that Beefy actually wanted to look at, or rather he said that he really liked them, so it kind of gave me the idea to do a review for them. So what I'm going to do is I'll transform one of them, put it into plane mode, and then we'll go from there. I suppose before we get into transformation we need to do size comparison and scale. So to the top of his head it looks like he's coming up to about 5 1/4. To the top of the little pylons in the back, 5 3/4 maybe. Width wise, I do shoulder to shoulder. He's coming in at 2 3/4 approximately. Depth wise, he's got this on the back here. How are we going to do this? Just eyeball it as close as we can and call it 2 1/4. Okay. Here it is with the DX9 Megatron. I know we're comparing apples to oranges there. And here it is with that Optimus Prime that I have no idea what his actual name is. Here it is next to an Iron Factory Seeker, to give you a general sense of scale here. And let's put it next to here, Swooper from MechFans Toys. They're the same height at the head, looking at them. So that's a good sense of scale there for that. Let's see. For you Legends fans, or Legends, for you Classics fans, and for you movie fans. So Bumblebee's actually smaller than Fall of Cybertron Starscream. For you animated fans, and for you Beast Wars fans. Okay. I guess there's just one more comparison to make, and that is with the standard Legends scale figure. Mr. Standard here. Doesn't he betray everybody in the end? Yes, Nemesis, he kind of does. Why do we have him in the collection? Well, actually, Nemesis, I had him before I had you. I'm keeping an eye on him. Alright then. You gotta have fun with stuff, right folks? Anyway, excuse me. Let's see here, that was size, that was scale. Real quick articulation, the head is on a swivel? Is that a swivel? No, that must, yeah, that, If it's a ball joint, it's, I can't tell. Let's just say it's on a pin, a peg, and leave it at that. Now, it's got some wicked light piping. See that? Look how cool that light piping is. That's good light piping. Details of the figure, he's got arms that can do a full 360. They can go out to here. There's no waist swivel. He has a double bend elbow. That's for transformation, but it does work. The wrists can rotate around if you need them to, for whatever reason. The things come off here. We'll talk about those in just a second. The legs are on, don't know if you could see in there or not, but those are ratchets. However, there's nothing to ratchet to, but he could do the full Chinese splits with no trouble. And I think those are universals. You can do the American splits with no trouble at all. So there's a mushroom peg built into this joint right here, and I imagine most of your rotation is done exactly like this. We just never see the peg. We just never see the mushroom, and this one has the cutout. Knees bend 90 degrees, and the only articulation you get in the foot, you do get a rocker. I hope I didn't break it. You do get a rocker. It'll go that far, and the toe will move up and down. So he can stand flat-footed. His A stance is about right there. Alright, so the gun here, taking a quick look at it, it's got some really nice molded detail, some pretty little silver. The others have different colors, but they're basically the same. This is just straight up plastic, and the thing about this is it's got a little gimmick. It rotates, which is kind of nice. I don't think there's any other way to get it to rotate, and he's got some silver right here. Looks real nice. Alright, so to transform this thing, there's a couple of things you have to do. And there is one big issue with this, as you can see. First thing we do is we pull these up. Then we open up the chest here, and we can go ahead and pull out our nose cone right here from this beautiful little translucent piece. He's got his back section here plugged into there's a pin and a port right there, so we have to separate that. Now, rotate the head around so that the back part is flat like that. Pull this up. There are little tabs right there that are going to go into little grooves right here. Go ahead and just knock that out. Just go ahead and get those in there. Alright, next thing you need to do is your arms. Rotate them so that this little part right here comes down. Rotate at that mushroom peg right there. Make sure your hand is kind of like this, and then just fold it and push it into place. Now these are going to connect. There's a pin right here, and there's a port right there. So do the same thing again. Rotate it so that the fins come together. Pull it down, make sure your fist is right, and then just tab them together, just like that right there. Okay, now unbreak your foot here, pull your toes in, and swing this whole section in like this. There's a port on both sides that will plug in right here. When you know what you're doing, this transformation is not difficult. If you're not sure about it, it can be challenging. Let me put it like that. Okay. Last thing we do is we take our guns here, and there are two places that you can put them on. You can put them on right here or right here. If you're going to put them on right here, you kind of have to use the longer peg, but it does work. Me personally, I prefer to use the smaller peg and put them in right there. I think it just makes it look better, but that's my opinion. There's no landing gear on this, at least none that I can find, so this is what you get. In this mode, you've got sort of almost, it's coming off a lot brighter on camera. It's probably the lights, but this is muted to the point of almost non-existence right here. You have some blue here, some pink here, the blue from the feet come through, the silver. This is just gray plastic. You get a little translucent there, translucent cockpit. You can still use the gimmick in this mode. You get little pink right there for the intakes. I like this little thing. It doesn't have much of a place because I'm not a fall Cybertron collector, but yeah, it's okay. Lengthwise, let's see, from the tip of his toe to the tip of his cockpit here, we're looking at about 6 inches. Widthwise, now, I tell you what, I'm not going to count these two little spots on the gun. I'm just going to go from wingtip to wingtip again. And that comes in right at 4 inches. Height-wise, again, we're going to have to eyeball it. Looks like about 2.5. Okay, so here it is with that crappy Bumblebee. Here it is with the Legion scaled Ultra Magnus. And the last thing, here it is with classic prime mold, just to give you a sense of scale. And here's all three of them in plane mode. And there was one thing I wanted to show. I don't think well, I know I didn't show it off. On this version, if you notice, there's a bent hinge right here. That actually can lock into place and be nice and solid and stable. And when you get that, I mean, it's a brick at this point. So, something to remember. I like these things. They don't, like I said, that I'm not a collector of War for Cybertron or Fall for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, whatever the hell the thing is. But I do like these things, and I finally had the opportunity to purchase all three of them, and I snapped it up. I couldn't say no. You know, when you get your Seekers, you just kind of, well, maybe that one won't break. When you get your Seekers, you just kind of want to have all three, you know? It's what you want to do. So, I don't know if they made an Acid Storm or a Sunstorm of these, but if they did, I'd probably buy those too. So, And now, to answer the burning question on everyone's mind, how do the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Seekers scale with Metroplex? And here you can see they're all three right there, just to give you a sense of scale. It only seemed fair to show them in vehicle mode surrounded by Metroplex. It's kind of hard to do all three of them, but yeah, I could easily see this as a battle that would happen, even though, you know, they're grossly out of scale, but scale's in the eye of the beholder. I did a whole video on that. Feel free to look it up. I like the articulation. I like actually the Cybertronian design of them, and even though they're all three the same modes, all of the same mold, pardon me, they're Seekers. They're supposed to be. Only their face sculpt should be different, and unfortunately the face sculpt is exactly the same. They simply remolded and recolored everything. But aside from that, I can live with it. I'm pretty pleased with them, to be honest with you. I don't know where in the world they'll go on a shelf if I ever decide to collect the video game toys. I know Planet X has quite a selection for me to choose from. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to my next review, and I hope you do too.
And thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Vitamin John. Operators are standing by.